Hello and welcome back. I appreciate you coming back and checking out this update. I did a video on relocating to Florida. Question mark. Is it something for you or something not for you? And I'm going to say right off the bat, it is not for everybody. There are good parts to it and there's not so good parts to it. It all depends on your wants, your needs. You can only put the value on that and what you want to do. I did talk about a lot of the financial stuff and the job situations, the housing stuff, but there was some stuff that I left out, and I want to, not very much, but, and for the sake of keeping this video short, I can't tell you everything. You're gonna have to do your own homework, but I'm gonna tell you, because this is my experience being here for the 14 months that I've been here. You know, I live in Pinellas County, Clearwater, Florida, and my only experiences I've had is this area. I've been to Fort Myers, I've been to Orlando, Davenport, which is next door to Orlando, and a couple places in between, Sarasota. I can only tell you what I've experienced, and it's up to you to do your own homework. I'm retired. 63 years old right now, so this kind of fits me. I don't have to work because I get a pension. And that was one of the good things that I talked about in the last video, is that Florida is a very friendly state when it comes to pensions. There is no tax on pensions. So let's get into it. That was one of the things I wanted to talk about was taxes. I forgot to mention that there is no state tax. I'm from Connecticut, as you probably remember from my last video, and people who do know me. There's no state tax. So whether you're retired or if you're working here, that's a big deal. I mean, I remember my paycheck, I used to get banged for anywhere from $50 to $100 a week. That adds up. So if you're a young family coming here, that would be a plus. If you're retired, it's even more of a plus. Like I said, the pensions aren't taxed through the state. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and these are some of the good things. I'm going to base this off a comment I received from a gentleman called Oliver. Let me go over that first. Give me a second here. Let me pull that comment up. All right, I'm back. I'm old, so I got to take my time doing this stuff. So, but Oliver, let me put my glasses on because I'm old. Oliver Collins mentioned, and Oliver, if you're listening to this again, I appreciate your comment. I really do. It means a lot to me that you're actually spending some time to not only watch my video, but to give me your input, your 2 cents. So he was talking about the move-out rate. Move-out rate in the state is high, and also the Northeast is highly educated and classy. I'm not going to dispute that. I mean, I've lived in New England most of my life, and you got Yale there, you got Boston College. I mean, there's a lot of good institutions out there. He also says that the Mercedes symbol seems to be more important in Florida than Connecticut. And it all depends on how you look at it. Florida has been mostly a retirement state. And most of the time when people come up here to retire, if they're coming down here, they usually have a lot of money, and you know, they do buy a Mercedes quite a bit. I don't know if that's the actual purpose of them coming down here, but yeah, you do see a lot of Mercedes, and most of the time it's from us people like retired. We're finally able to buy a freaking Mercedes because we got a decent pension. He also talks about Victorian houses and small roads. Absolutely. That's one thing that I do miss about New England, and especially Connecticut. I live in the New Haven area. And anybody familiar with Connecticut, if you go up along the coast, Guilford, Madison, Old Saybrook, I mean, and you go a little deeper into Durham and stuff like that, there are beautiful homes. I mean, you can't beat the old-fashioned built homes up in New England. I mean, they're actually built. I mean, I lived in a house in West Haven, and that house was built in 1898, and I did some remodeling there. And the 2x4s are actually 2x4s. So, you know, you're absolutely right. There is definitely the Victorian houses and the small roads. I mean, I was a motorcycle rider. We used to go down these roads and along the coast. You can't beat the New England roads. The next thing is there's a lot of strip malls. Anybody familiar with Connecticut, New Haven area, up along the coast? You know, Route 1? You know what I'm talking about? Well, multiply that times 10 or even 100. He's absolutely right. There's a lot of strip malls. I was blown away. I mean, unless you go up farther, you know, more into the rural areas, there's a strip mall everywhere you go. There's a small smoke shop on every corner. There's a gas station on every corner, and there's a barber shop. It's insane. But at the same token, if you go inland, I can't remember the name of it. Us something, or you know what I mean. There's areas where there's farms. There's beautiful roads. So there's a give and take with that. I've been to the Orlando area. You go more in inland, and there's a lot more rural areas, beautiful roads as well. Not as nice as New England, you're right, but it's definitely nice. The homes here, there's nothing like New England. I mean, there's no basements here. Blows me away. Like, where do you put your stuff? You know, I was talking about the water lines coming in the other day. We had a little bit of a frost. I don't have to worry about it. New England, it's buried. It goes through the basement and away you go. I mean, you have access to all your utilities underneath in the basement and all this other stuff. That bothers me about Florida. No basements. So you lose that space. It's a definite negative. So, but there are beautiful homes here. And the other bad part about being here, and Oliver, I'm agreeing with you about the houses up there, but we had some friends of ours that bought a condominium north of $800,000. Had a beautiful drive-in garage. I mean, you could fit 5 cars in this damn thing. And the guy was showing me around. And one thing I noticed was there was these little holes in the walls with these little doors. And I asked him, this is in St. Petersburg. And I asked him, I said, what the hell are those doors? He says, well, when it floods, this way the water can go out. What? Well, yeah, it's a flood zone. There's areas here that they're going to flood. And they're building houses to make it so that the water goes out. Go figure. I don't know. That's a definite negative for me. But, you know, we went upstairs and that condominium was gorgeous. And it should be for $800,000. There's other areas that are guaranteed to flood during every hurricane. My brother lives in Fort Myers. He just bought a beautiful historical house. It's gorgeous. He's putting a lot of money into it. He's doing a lot of work. There's been flood damage to this thing, but it's gonna flood again. And all these people that live there know that, and they still live there. I don't know. I wouldn't, but again, it's the value that you put on where you want to be. The nightlife in Fort Myers, beautiful. The beaches, I don't know about the beaches, but I didn't get to their beaches too much, but it's gorgeous. Old Fort Myers downtown, the shops, just the whole nightlife, the whole feeling of being down there is incredible. But the downside, flooding. Every time there's a hurricane, it's going to flood. And these people have to build these houses so that the next time there's a flood, it's just, I figure it out. So those are some more of the downsides to the Florida, you know, housing situation compared to up north. You know, and again, Oliver, I appreciate your comment. Let me go back to some more of what you were talking about. Not so interstates and flashiness, etc. in Connecticut. Florida has some beautiful roads. Connecticut does too. You got your good and your bad. It's the same thing. The only thing that I've noticed down here, I should say, in Florida, is that the roads are a little bit better, and probably because we don't get those frost heaves. And they do put a lot of effort in taking care of the roads. Also, the tax situation. Up north, there's a Democratic leadership, and they do make the cost of living a little bit higher. I'm not going to debate Democrat or Republican. I'm not talking about that. But it seems like the Democratic states seem to be a little higher as far as tax-wise goes. Yes, the winters up north are cold and long, but so are the summers down here. They get very hot. They get extremely hot. The humidity is off the charts sometimes. And if you're an older person and you're having some breathing problems, can't turn into an issue if you don't have air conditioning. You got to have air conditioning just like you have to have heat up north, you know. So there's a trade-off, you know. You want the heat or you want the cold. Like I said, personally would rather deal with the once in a while heat waves and the once in a while cold snaps at night during the wintertime. That's just my own personal preference. What else? Yeah, he just, you know, and I get, Oliver, what you're saying. I agree with you on a lot of aspects. It's just my own personal preference. I prefer to be in the warmer climate. Now getting back to some of the updates that I was talking about, and this has a lot to do with some of this, his comment. Florida, I don't think is really geared for a growing family. Just from what I could see, I talked about the wages down here. If you're just going to be a laborer and you got a family, it's going to be very difficult. On the other hand, if you become a police officer or some government job or something, like my girlfriend's nephew's a postal worker, he makes decent money. If you're going to work for Public Works, some kind of job like that, or a local railroad, you're going to do okay. You're going to be all right. Bars, restaurants, if you like to work a lot of hours, the tips are going to be good. You know, it all depends on what you like to do. But as far as like, if you're just coming down here as a 30 or 40-year-old trying to raise a family, it's going to be difficult. As far as having your own business, I talked about that as well. Florida is very friendly to businesses, but at the same token, the population here is not so good about paying. Unless you're in Naples or Miami or some uppity up city, it's going to be difficult to make a good living. So that's my take on that. A couple other things I wanted to talk about. I didn't really talk about the traffic. Florida has exploded in some areas. Like I said, I live in Clearwater, and this area has absolutely exploded, especially after COVID. There are so many people here, and then like the snowbirds, which I used to be, come down here and they just inundate this area. I mean, you can't move. And to make matters worse, there's a route, US 19 here going through Clearwater. The traffic lights here are 4 minutes and 27 seconds. Imagine being on the corner and you got some dummy who's looking at their phone and misses the light. You not only waited 4 minutes and 27 seconds, you gotta wait again. And then at the same time, you got the place that you're going to right across the street. You could have literally gotten out of your car, walked across the street without getting hit by a car, and got your shit and got back in your car, and then the light would have changed. It drives me insane. I don't know if anybody who's listening from the department of that does this shit, fix the lights. It drives me crazy. Now, if you go inland more, like I went to Davenport, there's some areas that ain't too bad, 2 minute, normal, almost normal. Like Connecticut, it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes most. But you go inland and there's some locations that it's okay. But this area, if somebody's, like I said, if somebody's on their phone or somebody's falling asleep at the wheel, a normal 5-10 minute ride somewhere up north, like in Connecticut, you're talking at least a half hour, 45 minutes. It's insane. So that's a negative. And then you got all these people, like Oliver was saying, these strip malls all over the place, coming in and out of these strip malls. And that brings me to another thing. If you like to ride motorcycles, don't come to Clearwater. These bigger cities like this are terrible. There's so many people getting killed on motorcycles because people don't pay attention. I had extra loud pipes on my bike. I've seen a lot of people, or I shouldn't say seen, I've heard about motorcycle accidents constantly. If you're going to live in Clearwater and you want to have a motorcycle, you got to take it, put it on a trailer, and go out to the rural areas. Trying to get to a rural area from this area, forget it. I mean, I try and get out of our roads here on the main road on 19. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes just to pull out, and it's a coin toss of whether you're going to get hit or not. So this area, motorcycles, I'm selling it. I'm selling my motorcycle. don't want to deal with trailering it out. So I was thinking when I came to Florida, I was going to be able to ride 365 days a year, but no, it's just not worth it. So if you're going to get a motorcycle, you have a motorcycle, and you want to come to Clearwater, buy a trailer it out. That was one of the other things that I wanted to talk about. We talked about the traffic. Okay. Some other good things that I want to talk about, and I forgot to talk about, is, you know, if this is like a vacation to me. It feels like I'm on vacation all the time because I love the weather. And again, this is me. I'm retired. I love the weather. But if you live in Florida, one of the good things is that they give you massive discounts on going to parks and stuff like that. Disney, there's like a 30-35% discount. If that's what you like to do, personally, I don't give a shit. I don't like Disneyland, but if that's something you like to do, that's a plus. And I did talk about the jobs. Like I said, if you're a young couple, unless you got something under your belt, a lot of money, it's not really geared for younger couples. That's probably getting back to the move out rate. I did have an article on that. I'm not going to read you the article, but basically they said there was more people moving in than moving out. But the people that are moving out are the younger people. They're in their 30s and 40s. They're having a hard time making a living here in Florida. They're struggling. And unless you're a police officer or a fireman or some kind of government job, it's going to be very difficult. So that's my uptake on that, and I hope this update helps you. Oliver, again, thank you for the comment. And I got another comment from my buddy there, Mikey. Speak up, I can't hear you. Get some hearing aids. I love you, Mike. Again, thank you all for watching this video. I appreciate it. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on Florida. And also, I'm having a personal situation. We have a dash hound, a little miniature guy. It's actually a girl. We're having a lot of issues with her right now. She got her as a rescue. I'm going to be talking about that. She just had surgery last night. Anybody who has a dash hound knows that they're problematic when it comes to their back. So, got some good information on that. It's a little upset about it right now. I want to cry because that's our baby. But we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to get back to the relationship stuff and all that. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning on to Turn It Up with me, Al Maldonado. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next one.